tell us, how is the state of Israel helping Olim and is encouraging Aliyah, actively encouraging Aliyah among Jewish communities in the United States and in Europe also?
Encouraging Aliyah is a new effort in the Israeli government. Well, actually, we don't do that by ourselves. We are doing it with the Jewish Agency, with Nefesh B'Nefesh here in North America, but also with other organizations all over the world. And for the other process, I mean, how do we integrate them in the Israeli system? We just see the whole fields of life: employment, education for kids, housing, even culture. I mean, what kind of culture they want to see, what kind of plays they're interested in. And we try to see the whole angle, and sometimes it takes a few years, but usually it works.
Eventually, we all come back. Speaking for myself here. All right, Shai, oh, you have a microphone, right? What would you say is driving Jews in the diaspora to move to Israel nowadays?
Well, I think you can find many reasons, and depending on the situation. It can come from economical decisions. It can come from a professional that you want to change in your life. It can come from level of education and other anti-Semitism, obviously, war like in Ukraine. But eventually we see that there needs to be a fundamental base for all of that. And that's the love of Israel, that's Zionism, and education. The more we invest in education, the more people will choose to make Aliyah in different situations in their life.
It's not the cheap real estate, for sure.
Unfortunately not, and this is one of the challenges we need to face regarding Olim. We know it's a difficult one, but we need to challenge it.
You can pick it up, Zev. Take it.
No, it's a challenge for everyone. We at Nefesh B'Nefesh, since 2005, we actually were funded by the Israeli government, so we work very closely with the Ministry of Absorption and Integration. And since 2008, we work together with the Jewish Agency, and we really focus on removing obstacles, on trying to then identify those obstacles and confront them with all our resources,
So give us some examples as for what are these obstacles.
So we identified at the time, and we tried to evaluate year by year those obstacles, but really there are financial obstacles. Israeli bureaucracy is known to be tough. Employment, of course, like Ganit mentioned, and integration into Israeli society, which includes really the language.
Right.
Exactly. So once you tackle those 4 obstacles, you're able to bring thousands of Olim, and in 2021, we were blessed with 4,500 Olim that made Aliyah from North America.
Wow. Are they particularly young, or how would you divide them?
The average age of the Nefesh B'Nefesh Olim is 34. We see around, I think we see now more families coming. We see many young professionals coming actually to go into the army together with different programs supported by our friends here. But we see a big variety of everyone coming.
Well, no, I just want Zev to tell about the last thing we did together with the Ulpan for professionals.
One of the things we're being asked by the ministry to do is to actually help Olim pre-Aliyah do their Ulpan. And we at Nefesh B'Nefesh, we focus on the Olim, on these obstacles throughout the entire process, starting from pre-Aliyah and working with them during their Aliyah process and after they make Aliyah until they integrate into Israeli society. The Ganit is talking about a pre-med Ulpan that we started, a medical professional Ulpan to help those who go into the medical professions, physicians, nurses, OTs, etc., and to actually learn the professional Hebrew that is needed to work in Israel, but to start pre-Aliyah, and that is supported by the ministry, and that's a real breakthrough.
Many years ago, the thought was that you start your aliyah or your klita, your absorption, once you land in Ben Gurion. I think what we are trying to do, together with the ministry, with Nefesh B'Nefesh and others, is to start as much as you can in preparation, like learning Hebrew, exams for your qualification in Israel. And the more we prepare you before your aliyah, we remove the obstacles along the way. Then the decision of coming is becoming more easier.
Well, there's a certain group of recent Olim that could not have prepped for the moment, and I'm talking about Olim from Ukraine, who are refugees from the war in Ganit. I want to ask you, because I know you've been very much involved with welcoming this group. How exactly is it being done? What is the process like? And talk to us in numbers.
Well, we're about over 20,000 Olim came to Israel. Many of them came as Olim, and half of them came as, you know, something Shai is calling them go or no go. I mean, we knew for 70% that their eligibility for Aliyah will work up, and they came. And most of them were in hotels, which is really new effort for us. They came, a lot of them with plastic bags, a lot of them, of course, only women and children, because the husbands stay there to fight. And we accepted them in the hotels, okay? It was like over 40 hotels all over the country. And when we saw them, you saw the shock on their face. They were totally lost. They were totally alone. They didn't really know what to do and how to do. And I think we tried to do it together nicely. We had all kinds of organizations that volunteered to come and help. Many organizations, youth groups, and others, and senior citizens, and whoever. And we also gave them like cultural things and trips to the Golan, to the Galil, to whatever. And now we see them coming out, going to their residence. It's not that easy, but you can even now see them that only 600 stayed out of 4,000, out of 5,000, only 600 are still in hotels, and I'm sure the numbers will go down in the few weeks.
Wow, this is heartwarming.
I just want to mention that throughout the process, we got a call from our friends at the ministry asking us also to see what we could do for the Ukrainians. And because we have an infrastructure in our offices in Jerusalem to process Olim, we were really privileged to help these Ukrainian Olim come to our office and get processed by the Ministry of Interior and by the Ministry of Aliyah Integration, and actually do a one-stop shop in the Nefesh B'Nefesh offices, us giving them the premises to do this great work. And really just being able to help wherever we can. It was heartbreaking, very difficult stories. But I think that once you create an infrastructure that could help Olim from all over the world, then the sky's the limit of the work we could do together.
We don't want to leave your offices now, you know that.
You're always welcome.
Did you want to add something?
Now, bringing the Olim from Ukraine, we have to remember one thing. They were not planning on making Aliyah, or at least not soon. So they found themselves in a situation where they're running away. As Ganit said, we met them in the hotels prior to the arrival with the plastic bag. But I think now the biggest challenge is how to make sure that they will stay in Israel. Because they ran away, now they are here. They got the warm welcome in the beginning. Now they have to face job reality, Hebrew, accommodation, and it's our responsibility to make sure that their absorption will be in that way that will decide to stay even when the war in Ukraine will end.
Well, you know, the war in Ukraine has put the debate over Israel being a nation state once back in the spotlight when, you know, the public, the media, lawmakers discussed whether it is okay to promote or prioritize Jewish-based Aliyah over non-Jews from Ukraine. And I don't know which of you who wants to take this question, but I believe that you've been asked this question many times, like how do you explain to people that the